The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Now there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem at the sheep gate a pool called in Hebrew Bethesda, with 5 porticos. In these lie a large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been ill for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I'm on my way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." Immediately the man became well, took up his mat and walked. Now that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had slipped away since there was a crowd there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on the Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord. Interesting readings today dealing with water and the temple and whatnot. We have always the mysterious reading from Ezekiel about the water flowing from the temple and the angel having him wade in and out of there and how it rose. And kind of, the beautiful imagery of the water flowing from that temple that wherever it goes, it gives life to plants along its banks. And it even flows into salty waters, and it makes those salty waters fresh. Beautiful image. And then we have here the guy at Bethesda, and hanging out there. And man, this guy just never gets a very, very favorable review in my book. Just hanging around the pool for 38 years, just kind of, oh, woe is me. Like, get up and get in the water, man. That's how I feel towards him. I don't know if it's true or not, but so I have a hard time with that one. But anyway, regardless of that, all right, the waters of Bethesda. I should get that right. There's a nursing home, my hometown, called Bethesda. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe they were kind of medicinal or healing or something. I don't know. There was something about them. But Jesus comes and heals him. And see, Jesus is the living water. Jesus, the water that Jesus gives flows from himself. Right? The Ezekiel temple is an imagery of what's to come, that the water flowed from the side of Jesus, right? The living water that flowed from his side. You think of when our Lord encountered the woman at the well. He said, if you would have asked me, and you know who it is you're talking to, he would give you living water, and you would never thirst again. So, that's kind of the imagery that's going on when we're talking about water and Jesus healing. All right, so the water that then pours forth from the temple of our Lord's body as he hangs on the cross is the grace that the church offers us, primarily in the sacraments. Right? Think of what is grace. And the Catechism would say grace is a participation in the divine life of God. Right? So this water that we receive in the sacraments, primarily, that flow from the temple of Christ's church, this is the living water that we all truly long for. This is the grace that we get to participate in the divine life of God. This is what everyone is looking for in the world. Whether they're sick or rich or poor, wherever they're at, grace is what we all desire. It is a participation in the very life of God. That's profound. And that's what we see prefigured today. In Ezekiel, way back then, in this healing at Bethesda, but ultimately with Jesus on the cross, when he's pierced for our offenses, blood and water pour forth from his side. The water, or the blood, is his mercy. The water is his grace, which continues to give us life. So that's why we all gather here tonight. We desire that living water, that eternal thirst quencher that keeps us going in life and is already a participation in heavenly reality. So that's the goodness that we're afforded at every sacrament we celebrate, primarily the Eucharist. We draw from that wellspring who is our Lord. So may that knowledge of the water we receive in the sacraments refresh us so that we can even partake more fully in the sacrament, especially the Eucharist. We receive the grace of God, that participation in his divine life.